We are beginning a brand new sermon series here at Pittman Park where we're going to be looking at the prophet Isaiah and hearing his words as we begin this new year. The name of the series is Rise and Shine because we have a unique opportunity at the start of the year to wake up, to come to life, and to begin anew. One of my favorite thinkers from history is a Roman emperor. His name is Marcus Aurelius. And Aurelius, he was a Stoic philosopher. And in book 5 of the Meditations, he writes about a moment that every single one of us in this room has experienced. Maybe you experienced it this morning. That moment when it's cold outside and you awaken and it's warm beneath the sheets, and you're fighting the urge just to stay there in the warmth and the comforts of that place. Do you know that moment? Anybody experience that? Maybe I don't want to guilt the folks on the live stream at home, but maybe that's where you are right now. It's warm and comfortable where we are. Marcus Aurelius writes these words in book 5 of his Meditations in the very first section. He says this: "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm?" Then he asks this rhetorical question. He says, "But it's nicer here." To which he responds, "So you were born to feel nice? Instead of doing things and experiencing them, don't you see the plants and the birds and the ants and the spiders and the bees? They're going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can. And you're not willing to do your job as a human being? Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands?" Marcus Aurelius, this emperor and Stoic philosopher, is asking us to do what we were created to do, to be the people that we were created to be, not lying in comfort in our beds beneath the sheets, not lying in the comfort of our current situations or systems, but by getting up, rising up, and doing that which we were made to do. So with Marcus Aurelius' advice in mind, I want to take just a quick poll. You can just raise your hand. How many of you would consider yourself a morning person? You know, we have a church of early risers, a church of morning people. In this service, it looked like there were more hands up than down. Same thing over at the night. I need to rethink our times. We have people who are early risers, who are morning people that are up at the break of dawn, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed before they even have a cup of coffee in their hand. I have some family members like you. Not in my direct family, but I know some folks that are like you. Folks that say, once I'm up, and they have smiles on their faces, and they're ready to face the day. I, on the other hand, am not naturally a morning person. It's been forced upon me as I've aged. When you have children, you have to be up early in the morning because they wake up early in the morning. Or you have to be up before them to get them off to school. But if I had it my way, waking up in the morning would begin with about an hour and 30 minutes of quiet and stillness, laying in the bed, then slowly making my way out to take on the day. But those days just don't seem to happen anymore. Except this past week, it was pretty nice during the break. Growing up, my parents would wake my brother and I every morning in the same way. They would walk to the landing of the stairs in our house. They lived downstairs, we lived upstairs, and we had 2 rooms, and they would stand at the foot of the stairs and they would say, "Rise and shine." Most often, several times to wake us up. We like to lay in the bed and try and squeeze out every last minute of sleep that we could. My dad, I remember, would say, "Rise and shine, breakfast biscuit." That was like a Hardee's thing for a minute, right? I can remember those words echoing in my ears. I remember waking up and getting on the move. Later on, I learned another way to wake up, a song about rising and shining. I think I learned it first at VBS, but then it became an anthem every morning at every camp I went to as a child and on into my ministry. It became the thing that was sung every single morning. I think you know this song. It goes like this: rise and shine. And you can help, right? There's words up here. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Hold on. That's not, hold on. No. Listen, that last rise and shine is punchy, right? Rise and shine and, right? So here we go. One more time all the way through. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Children of the... That's right. Yeah, you know it. Some of y'all even know the clap, which is impressive. Very impressive. That's a fun tune. It's a great way to wake up when you're at camp surrounded by a couple hundred other students. But you know, too, that it's great to wake up with a song in your heart in the morning, a catchy tune that kind of propels you through the rest of the day, that gets you up and moving. Isaiah in chapter 60, verse 1 says, "Arise and shine." That's the call of the prophet to the people of Israel. Arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. The people hearing these words were a people in exile. They were people in captivity who were perhaps just beginning to hear that they could return to their homeland. They had spent 70 plus years struggling, living in darkness, living in a foreign land, living beneath the weight of captivity under the Babylonians and the Persians. And here, Isaiah presents to them a vision of hope and restoration, presents to us a vision of hope and restoration, not just for the people of Israel, but for all nations. Hope and restoration that will be for the whole world as the kingdom of God breaks into the world. Hope, healing, restoration, life. Rise and shine. These words remind us of the words we heard during Advent from Isaiah chapter 9, verse 2. The people who walked in the darkness have seen a great light. Those who lived in the land of deep darkness, on them a light has shined. They follow up on the promise that God makes in Isaiah 42:19. I will turn the darkness before them into light, the rough places into level ground. And now the glory of the Lord is shining. Rise and shine. Rise and shine. Wake up. Isaiah calls our attention to the ways in which God is breaking into our world and illuminating our very existence. Look around you, the prophet says. Pay attention. God is here. Yes, here. God is here. Your Christmas decorations might be packed away, or maybe not yet. No judgment here. Ours are, but I didn't help, so that's another thing. Your Christmas decorations may be packed up, but Emmanuel, God with us, is here to stay. Jesus Christ is alive and present in our world right here and right now. Don't crawl back beneath the covers. You weren't born for that. Don't hit the snooze button as the alarm goes off. Rise and shine, church. This is news that's worth getting up for. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to come alive, to rise and shine, because the light of Christ is shining on us, to love and serve Christ by loving and serving others. It's time for us to wake up, to rise from our slumber, to set our eyes on Jesus Christ, the author and perfecter of our faith. and live as the forgiven and free people that we are. You and I weren't made to cower beneath the sheets. We were made for a purpose. And the best thing that we can do is get up and get to it. Stephanie showed you the flashlight a little bit earlier in the service, how it shines light into the darkness and shines light into the mirror, and the mirror shines light out into the world. That little illustration and that little flashlight reminded me of another hymn, and I promise you, not a hymn, but a song that I learned in VBS, and I promise not to sing to you every week. You couldn't bear it. But do you remember a song? It goes like this. This little light of mine. Help me out here. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And there's a second verse to that tune that says, hide it under a bushel? No. Oh, help me out. Hide it under a bushel? No. No, we're going to let it shine. We're going to let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Isaiah says, wake up. The light of Christ has dawned upon you. We've lived in darkness for so long. It's time to get up, to feel the warmth of God's grace enlivening us, and then to share that grace with the world around us, to help others who don't know the love, the hope, the joy, and peace that we know, to come to a knowledge of Jesus Christ that could transform everything for them, from their present reality to their eternity. Rise up, church. Wake up. But Isaiah doesn't just say rise, he says shine. Rise and shine. Karen Pittock Lester contends that these words from the prophet, that they're more than just beautiful poetry about light and darkness. She says this is not an invitation, church. This is a command. The light has not come merely to rescue a chosen few from the darkness. The light has come so that others will be drawn out of the darkness into the circle of light. Those who are privileged to stand in the light have a responsibility, not just to receive the light, but also to respond to it. Simply receiving the light is like lying beneath the covers, saying, wow, it's comfortable here. It's nice and warm in the bed. But you weren't made for that. You were made to rise and to shine. Just as our candles on Christmas Eve made us bearers of light to each other and to the world, Isaiah's words should remind us to shine brightly in hopes that we might be reflections of God's glory to others. As the poet Mary Ann Williamson writes, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, she says, not our darkness that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us. It's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So friends, church, rise and shine. Rise and shine, for the light of the world has come, and our work, our service, our purpose is just beginning.